Hello, my name is Raquel, and I am extremely grateful for the space and time to speak. I'm currently a Master of Social Work student at University of South Florida. I'm also the oldest sister of four. I am a daughter, an advocate, a griever, and a product of the public school system. To my fellow colleagues, parents, students, and educators, please join me in a collective deep breath. We have made it to this moment. This moment. Please notice the incredible work that has been done over the last year and over the many years surrounding special education services reports. New research has shown that 1 in every 10 students has a disability and that those numbers are even on the rise. Most of us believe that every student, no matter race, color, language, zip code, or ability, deserves equitable access to fair and free education services. To my federal legislators, what we have currently in our funding through the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act is still not enough. We know that students with disabilities have endured unmet needs for years. Not only the students, but parents and educators' emotional, mental, and physical health has suffered due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And while all of us have faced challenges, students with disabilities, and particularly those students of color, have experienced intensified disparities in services. Despite our best efforts, students of color with disabilities have gone without access to equitable supports that they need to thrive. While all students, parents, and educators had difficulty with changes during the pandemic, it is known that students of color are less likely to have access for adequate remote instruction. It is also known that they are the most likely to need in-person supports that are not provided during the pandemic. And they're the most likely to have lost a friend or family member due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The systemic underfunding of special education services has been ongoing for years. Currently, funding for special education services is determined through the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, where the federal government has promised to cover 40% of special education funding in public schools. Currently, the average yearly percentage where the federal government has provided funding is 14%, where previously it is noted that it should be 40%. This leaves the rest of the funding to be covered by the states. And in this situation, it does not allow for adequate services to be provided for our students that they need and so deserve. Though we have been failed by the system, it is more critical than ever to support equitable opportunities. I'm asking Congress for their full funding of the originally stated 40% of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. I'm asking Congress to invest in a system that helps all of our students, our future. Without federal support, it is harder to recruit and retain qualified teachers, especially teachers of color. We are unable to increase teachers' salaries, decrease class sizes, and update classroom resources without this funding. Resources are needed to address the needs related to the inappropriate use of exclusionary and disciplinary practices that happen in far too many of our public schools. And we know now that this impact has on the school-to-prison pipeline, and we must shed this light of the effects of the underfunding of special education in public schools has on this population. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, these children are experiencing isolation, trauma, and abuse more than ever, maintaining a disproportionate impact for underserved populations. Recently, the enactment of the American Rescue Plan granted a critical lifeline of $3 billion to schools in desperate need of funding. But it is still not enough. I'm asking for your attention for full federal funding of special education services in public schools. Our work is more critical than ever, and we must be compelled to create equitable outcomes and opportunities for our students. This begins with the adequate federal funding of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Thank you.